proceed to the next point. We should ensure whatever we say is clear.
That means work is being done. We can see that it is in opposite direction.
Good day, learners. You are welcome to another segment of Agricultural Science class. My name is Rashida Umar. Our topic for discussion today is aquaculture. Subtopic, fish farming. In our previous lesson, we have discussed about fish farming, where we have seen the definition of aquaculture. We have seen the meaning of fish farming. We proceed to define some terminologies that are used in aquaculture or fish farming. We later proceed to conditions that are necessary in siting a fish pond. After that, we now proceed to classification of fishes, which include their classification based on their morphology and classification based on their habitat. So today, we are going to talk about establishment of a fish pond, maintenance of a fish pond, method of harvesting fish, fishery regulations in Nigeria, and we move to assignment. Establishment of a fish pond. The following operations are normally carried out when establishing a fish pond. When you want to establish a fish pond, you have to consider the following. The first thing is the site selection. Before you construct or establish a fish pond, you have to do what? You have to select what? The site. This involves the choice of the best site based on necessary conditions like a piece of land through which a stream flows. The site should be on a fertile and clay soil to prevent seepage. What we are saying here is that the first thing you do, you have to what? You select a site where you make your fish pond. And on the process of selecting, you have to look for a place that is what? Very close to what? To the river floor. Secondly, the soil that you are going to use, it has to be a clay soil. To what? To prevent seepage of water, so that your water will not be running out. Secondly, reconnaissance or general survey. Detailed survey of the chosen site should be carried out, especially by extension workers. Such workers help to determine the height of pond, volume of earth to be used for dike and total water surface area. It means here, the second thing after selecting a site, you have to do what? You have to do a general survey so that it will assist you in seeing the depth of water. Thirdly is clearing and stumping of the site. This involves the removal of trash, cutting of trees, and removing of stumps. We have to what? We have to clear the site. You clear all the trash. When you clear the trash, you remove your stumps. The stumps are remnants of the trees. They are known as the trunks. So after clearing the trash, you also remove your stumps. Fourthly, construction of dam. Dam is usually constructed across the stream. Materials used in the construction should be of good quality. When you want to construct your dam, all what you need is what? Materials that are what? Of a very good quality. Number 5, construction of core trench. This involves the removal of soil or excavation. It is positioned at the right angle of the dam. Such dam should be made with consolidated stones and cement walls. 6, construction of spillway. Spillway is positioned at the end of the dam. Wood and wire mesh screen should be used to construct the spillway. 7, liming. This involves the addition of limestone or calcium carbonate powder to the site and bottom of the pond to seal the pores and prevent water loss. What we mean here is that in this liming, you have to what? Apply liming material such as calcium carbonate or limestone so that it will assist you in what? In covering or sealing the pores that are in the pond. Liming also reduces acidity of the pond water and encourages the growth of planktons. Here, when you apply the liming materials, it also helps or assists in reducing what? acidity content in the water that is in your pond. Because when the water is too acidic, it affects the fish and they will die. So when you apply the liming material, it reduces this acidic content in the water. And it also encourages the growth of planktons. These planktons, they are fish food, the natural food that are in the pond that the fish feed from. And these planktons, they are in two types. They can be in plants, and they can also be in form of animals. The ones that are plants, we call them the phytoplanktons. While the animals, we call them the zooplanktons. However, liming is done before filling the pond with water. It means you have to apply the lime before impoundment. Impoundment simply means introducing water to your pond. And when you apply the liming material, you have to what? You have to allow the pond to stay for about 4 weeks in its dry state with the liming material before you impound your pond. That is, before you introduce water to the pond. Number 8, pond fertilization. Fertilizer encourages the growth of planktons, that is the fish food. Pond fertilizer is done by pouring organic fertilizers, such as the poultry dropping and the cow dung, or the use of inorganic ones like NPK, superphosphate. Pond fertilizer should be carried out 15 days before stocking pond with water. This pond fertilization, it simply means applying of fertilizer into the pond. And this fertilizer, they can be organic or inorganic. The organic fertilizers, they are the cow dung or our poultry droppings. While the inorganic fertilizer, they are what? The chemical fertilizers. Example, our NPK or superphosphate. So the 9th point there is the impoundment of the pond. This involves the filling of the pond with water by opening the monk board of your reservoir. This leads to the release of water and flow to fill your pond. When we say impoundment, it simply means releasing or filling your pond with water. And you are doing that through what? Through your monk board of the reservoir. When you open it, the water will now flow into your pond. Number 10, pond inoculation. This is the introduction of proper plankton species into the pond. This pond inoculation, it simply means what? Introduction of what? Planktons to what? To your pond. And these planktons, we say they are the artificial fish food. It is done by obtaining some water from a plankton-rich pond and pour into a newly fertilized pond. When the pond water begins to turn green, this green water indicates that there is abundance of planktons. That is the natural fish food. To keep the water green, fertilizer is added into the pond every week. Number 11, stocking of the pond. Stocking, it simply means the introduction of the fingerlings into the pond. And these fingerlings, they are what? They are baby fish. They are baby fish that we stock into the pond. So this is the introduction of the proper baby fish called fingerlings into the pond. The fingerlings should not be poured into the pond. Rather, the container should be placed gently into the water and the fingerlings allowed to swim into the pond themselves. If you are stocking your fish, you are not expected to just take the fingerlings and drop them directly into the water. No, they might get injured. You have to place it maybe on a plate or a container. Then you now drop the container gently into the pond and allow the fish or the fingerlings to swim by themselves into the pond. Now, my learners, let's look at the maintenance of a fish pond. To ensure the continuous availability of fish in a fish pond, or maintain high fish yield, it is necessary to ensure the following. Number 1, regular feeding. The fish must be fed twice daily to supplement feed in the form of compound feed should be given in sufficient quantity to ensure rapid growth and early maturity of the fish. What we mean here, your fish will not only depend on the natural feed, that is the planktons. You should also be giving them supplementary compounded feed. And you have to be giving them twice daily, at least once in the morning and in the evening. Number 2, the weeding. This is the removal of weeds from the pond. It allows the penetration of sunlight to the bottom of the pond, which will promote the growth of fish, that is the planktons. It also prevents the build-up of pests and disease. Here, what they are saying is that you have to be removing weeds, the weeds that they are around your pond, so that it will allow direct sunlight into the pond. Number 3, desilting. This is the removal of silt or prevention of silt from entering into the pond. Desilting makes the water to be clean, promotes easy movement of fish within the water, and also prevent pollution of water. Silt materials, they are sand, soft sand that is in between the clay and the sandy soil. So this silt, when there is rainfall, it carries along the silt materials. So you have to be removing these silt materials in order to protect it from going into the pond, so that it will allow the clean water. The water in the pond will be clean. Number 4, aeration. Aeration enables oxygen to dissolve in water, which is required by fish or respiration. Fishes usually come to the surface of water due to lack of oxygen in the water. Weeds, excessive organic manure, and overstocking prevent proper aeration of the pond. Mostly the fish, they normally come up water to what? To have oxygen. And number 5, constant supply of water. The pond should always be filled with water, and all leakage should be sealed. You have to be filling your pond with water regularly, and if there is any leakage, if you observe any leakage in your pond, you have to seal it. Number 6, control of predators. Predators like the bird, snake should be prevented from entering into the pond because they could eat up the fish in the pond. This can be done by keeping the pond surrounding clean. Here, you have to be keeping your pond surrounding clean. To what? To control it or to avoid predators such as the bird and snake, because once they get into the pond, they will just eat up your fish. Number 7, regular harvesting. Regular harvesting of fish is necessary to prevent overpopulation, outbreak of disease, and cannibalism. You have to be harvesting the fish regularly to avoid to prevent it from overpopulation. We don't want the pond to be overpopulated, and once it is overpopulated, there is tendency of outbreak of disease, and we have to do that also to avoid cannibalism. This cannibalism, it simply means the fish will be eating one another. Once their pond is overpopulated, there is tendency of the fish eating one another. Now, let's look at the method of fish harvesting. Different methods can be used to harvest fish from the pond when they are matured. Definitely, when your fish are matured, you have to harvest. You must harvest the fish. So what are these methods that we use in harvesting the fish. Number 1, use of fishing traps. Fishing traps are gears made from ropes or raffia woven into various models or enclosures for capturing fishes. The traps are set along water courses, and any fish that enters the trap will not be able to go out. As you can see here, this is a photograph showing you a fishing trap. Locally, we call it fishing basket. Fishing basket is also part of the fishing trap, whereby you just throw it into the water, into the river or your pond, and the fish will get trapped and you bring it out. Secondly, we have the draining of the pond. Draining of pond is another method. In this method, what you will just do is you remove the water that is in your pond. When you remove water that is in the pond, then you can also use net to what? To harvest the fish. Number 3, the use of hook and line. This involves the use of hook and line, and it entails the use of hook which are tied to strength and set across the water. The gears could be in the pole and the line hook, or the long line hook, which consists of several hooks tied along line. The hooks are usually baited. This is a diagram showing you a hook and line. So when you throw the hook into the water with a bit at the edge of the hook, it will attract the fish, and once the fish come to consume that bit, you now pull it out and you get your fish. Number 4, the use of net. This involves the use of various types of net, such as the gill net, troll net, cast net, deep net, etc., which have been woven into various sizes and thickness. They are thrown into water for fish haulage. Net is a common fishing or harvesting tool that so many people use. It is just like a net structure. It is a net, and they are of different types. So you just throw it into the water, and it helps you in harvesting your fish. As you can see here, these are 2 different diagrams showing you fishing nets, because we have so many types of fishing nets. Number 5, electrofishing method. This involves the use of electricity to catch fish by creating electrical fields in enclosed area, such that electric current is sent across, killing the fishes between poles. This electric method, you apply, it is made of electric. So once you throw it into the water, it will what? It will create current, will flow through, and it will kill all the fish. So this electric method is best done when you want to harvest the entire pond, because once you put it there, it will kill the whole fish in the pond. Number 6, impaling or use of winding gear. This involves the use of spears or harpoons to attack big fish, such as shark. The winding gear is used in combination with other types of gear, such as the gill net, to kill struggling fishes to prevent their escape before being pulled. Now, learners, let's look at the basic laws and regulations of fishing. Fishery regulations are laws made by government in order to control or protect fish harvesting, so that they do not go into extinct, or for them, the fishes themselves, to be in regular supply from time to time. And this fishery regulation was promulgated in 1971 by General Yakubu Gowon. So the first law there, they said, no vessel except canoe shall fish within the first 2 nautical miles of the territorial water of Nigeria. Secondly, that the chemicals and poisons must never be used in killing fishes in streams, lakes, other water bodies in Nigeria. There should not be use of chemicals or poison, because most of these chemicals and poisons, they also affect human. When you use chemical to harvest your fish and you consume that fish, it can affect you. Number 3, the use of explosive substance for fishing is prohibited. You should not use any explosive to harvest your fish. Number 4, mesh size regulation, which involves the use of particular mesh of 6 centimeters, so that only matured fish, your mesh size is 6 centimeters. So when you use that mesh, that net to harvest your fish, it means you are not going to harvest any fish that is less than 6 centimeters. It is only the matured fish that are being harvested. Number 5, that pollutant and toxic materials should not be discharged or dumped into Nigerian water, because these pollutant or toxic materials can kill the fish. Number 6, the electric fishing must not be used in Nigerian waters except for the purpose of research. Number 7, fishing is banned during the raining season or close season, which is the breeding season of the fish, while active fishing is allowed during dry season. Here, what they mean here is that during rainy season, there is no fishing, because that is the breeding season. We are only allowed to fish during the dry season, that is according to the laws. Number 8, that overfishing should be avoided. We should avoid overfishing, excessive fishing. Number 9, that landing tax is paid based on total catch and sizes of the fish at landing site. Number 10, that no person shall export from the sea fish product exportation shall be done through the normal procedure. Here what they are saying, you are not expected to harvest your fish and you do what and export it and export the fish unless through the normal procedure. Number 11, population control, which involves the use of other fish types such as the clearies, that is the catfish, to eat up tilapia, or early harvesting to prevent overpopulation. We said we are supposed to be controlling the overpopulation, and we have 2 ways of controlling this overpopulation. It's either by using the clearies, that is the catfish, to eat up the tilapian fish, because mostly the catfish, they consume the tilapian fish. So when there is overpopulation in your tilapian pond, you just introduce a catfish to consume the tilapian fish, or early harvesting to prevent overpopulation. Number 12, certification that fishes to be sold to the public are free from all toxic substances and are safe for human consumption. Before you can start selling the fish, there must be a certification that your fish does not contain any toxic material. Now, students, let's move to the assignment. Number 1, mention the steps to be taken when establishing a fish pond. B, state 5 ways the farmers can maintain his fish pond. Number 2, describe 4 methods of harvesting fish pond. 2B, discuss briefly 4 fishery regulations. I take the assignment again. Number 1A, mention the steps to be taken when establishing a fish pond. Number 1B, state 5 ways the farmer can maintain his fish pond. Number 2, describe 4 methods of harvesting fish. You are to describe 4 methods in which you can harvest your fish. Number 2B, discuss briefly the 4 fishery regulations. These fishery regulations, we have so many of them, but you are to discuss only 4. For further inquiries, you can consult the following textbooks. Number 1, Essential Agricultural Science for Senior Secondary School by Iwena. Number 2, Prescribed Agricultural Science for Senior Secondary School by Omoroi. For submission of your assignment or any inquiry, you can contact me. I remain Rashida Umar. My number 080 34 51 35 76. 080 34 51 35 76. Stay home, stay safe, and keep learning.